Hello and welcome back to the channel, welcome back to the vlog, welcome back to Cornwall, welcome back to a lay-by in Cornwall, and welcome back to an overcast summer. We are just going to rejoin the road without getting absolutely annihilated. Okay, cool. And there we are, back on the main road. Neat. So, yeah, vlog. What's happened in the last couple of weeks since the last one? Well, yeah, you didn't get a vlog last weekend. Last weekend, what I did was recorded a video about OBS and some technicalities to do with recording and stuttering and things like frame rate. Thanks, car. Because sometimes what you do is you sit down to do a recording, and then what actually happens is there's a problem, a technical problem, and that's been going on since April. So looking back at April, we've had a few issues. Can we scoot out past this lot? Yeah, we can. We've had a few issues. Now, some of those issues you guys are going to know about. Some of those issues are a broken foot, a damaged back, and some blood clots, if you've been keeping up with the news. The foot has been getting better. I'm back to walking mostly normally. The pain in the foot is mostly gone. Occasionally I put it down wrong and it kind of tweaks a bit. But apart from that, yeah, there's a little spider here. Go away. So, yeah, mostly the foot's okay. The swelling from the blood clots in my leg, which was a complication of the broken foot, that's also been getting better. It's not fully gone, and yesterday my leg was a bit more swollen than normal because I didn't get out and do much walking yesterday. But on the days when I have been walking, it looks pretty normal. I can see muscle definition there now, which is good. My back though, I do have a little bit of news on the back, because 2 months after falling in the shower, which is in the bath, and hitting my back against the back of the bath, I mean, I was unconscious at the time. I didn't know what I did. I have to put 2 and 2 together to get some sort of mathematical equation, which comes out to the muscles and everything have now relatively healed, but there's still pain. And I think what I've actually done is cracked a couple of ribs in my back, or around the back area. One underneath my right shoulder blade, because there is definite pain there, and one on the left near my spine. So that kind of makes sense, because it's healing slowly about the same rate as the broken bone in the foot is healing. And I'm like, oh yeah, all right. So yeah, I think those are cracked ribs rather than just a damaged back. But last Friday? No, a week ago Friday. Ooh, time, how does it work? A week ago Friday, I bent down to pick something up off the floor and tweaked my back, and it was just like, ouch, gotta sit down now, gotta concentrate on breathing. So yeah, I'm not out of the woods as far as the back goes. But that has been interesting. Like, I've had to go to the hospital, I've had to go to the doctors, and that's kind of obviously interfered with recording sessions. You can't really record something if you're in a hospital getting your legs scanned. It's just not practical. But most of that's calmed down now, and I was recording, so I was doing some recording a couple of weeks ago on Baldur's Gate 3. I'm still chipping away at the game. We are still very close to finishing it and not very close to finishing it. And I had a problem. And the problem was that the game crashed the desktop, and then it was just like, oh, I'm going to verify all your files. Oh, all right, cool. And then once it finished verifying the files, I went back into Baldur's Gate 3, and it's a Steelwatch Foundry fight. So I was playing that, and it's a complicated bit of gameplay to go through. So I was doing this complicated bit of gameplay after having to verify the files, after delaying the recording, and then something happened and the fight got messed up, and I was just like, you know what? I'm going to put the game down and leave it for a week, because this is not happening tonight. And then the next week, it didn't get recorded either, because the day before that, I was recording the finale for Bramble the Mountain King. and that got messed up as well. And I was like, okay, we got some problems here. So a video game having a corrupt file is not too much of an issue. You do have an issue when you are recording gameplay footage for a video game and there is noticeable stuttering in the recording. So with Bramble, because the finale, the bit that we were doing, is largely side-scrolling, there was a 1 second pause and it was like a heartbeat as I was playing the game, and I noticed it and I thought, oh, maybe this is going to clear up, and it didn't clear up. And I was like, oh, bums, what do I do? Well, the answer is you stop the recording and then you go through the game settings to see if there's anything in the game settings to clear that up. And the answer is no, because Bramble only has 2 video game settings as far as graphics go. Well, it's got 3. It's got the resolution or the scale, and then it's got VSync, and it's got a frame rate limiter. So if you turn VSync on, it looks great, but the recording stutters every 1 second. If you turn VSync on and turn the frame rate limiter to 60 frames per second, you have a line that sort of goes down the screen, and it goes from top to bottom every 1 second. And I'm just like, ain't that a thing? See, I've been having trouble recording Stranded Deep, another video game where we've been trapped on a desert island archipelago. And it's been something that has been in my mind. And I thought, well, maybe it's just Stranded Deep being annoying. But no, it's not just Stranded Deep. It's OBS, the open broadcast software, which I use to record. And I'm just like, oh. So in the olden days, I would have used Shadowplay, but Shadowplay has some problems. Shadowplay doesn't like playing with Premiere Pro in order to edit video. With Premiere is expecting a constant bitrate file, and the trouble with Shadowplay is it doesn't record in constant bitrate. It records as a variable bitrate. So you put it into Premiere to edit your gameplay footage together, and you find the audio and video start to desync quite badly and quite randomly as well. If it's a constant bitrate, that's fine. So that's a bit of an issue. But I also play at 2K and record at 1080. And Shadowplay will just record whatever is on your screen at whatever the screen resolution is. Which means when you put it into Premiere, you need to rescale everything, and that means Premiere is rescaling every single frame, 60 frames per second. So it's just much easier to use, thanks Car, it's much easier to use OBS, because OBS can record. Car, we are not attacking that Nissan Micro, whatever the hell that thing was, it's fine. So yeah, OBS allows me to rescale on the fly, so I can play at 2K, but it records at 1080, which is great. It rescales on the fly, and it also records as a constant bitrate file, which means I don't need to do anything. I don't need to run it through Handbrake or do anything. I can just take the file and put it into Premiere. OBS is great for that. But this stuttering was a pain in my bum, so I stopped the recording for that night. In fact, the next 2 nights, as I came up with a solution for it, because working in IT support, as I used to do, I used to be a IT support monkey, there has to be a solution, or there has to be a workaround for pretty much everything. And I went through every setting in OBS, because I didn't want to go back to Shadowplay. I went through every setting in OBS, and nothing changed. And then I went on a deep dive on the internet. So I went through all these forums from 10 years ago and looking at videos, and nothing was really working. Nothing was the solution that I was looking for. Until I stumbled upon someone who suggested, well, actually, Windows doesn't send 60 hertz to your monitor. It sends 59.95 hertz to your monitor. And I'm like, wait a minute. Is that why? Is this guy coming down? Nope, he's parked. Cool. That's why when you are recording, OBS is expecting 60 frames per second, but it gets 59. And then that last frame that it doesn't get, it just does a little stutter on. And it's more noticeable in some games than others. And I'm like, oh. Yeah, the solution, I put the solution in a video. It's just to create a custom resolution for your computer using the NVIDIA control panel and just set it to 60 Hertz. It's fine. But wait, there's more. No, that's it. But it did mean taking a couple of days out of recording, because sometimes that just happens. Sometimes you come up with a problem, or there is a problem during your normal recording session, and you can't progress, or you don't want to progress because the product that you are going to create is just not as good as you would hope it would be. And it's not you being picky, it's this is difficult to watch. So yeah, and then on top of that, Stranded Deep, god damn, it's been a weird time for recording video. Stranded Deep last Friday, there should have been a video up, and I recorded an entire Stranded Deep video and couldn't use it because there'd been a driver update on the computer for the mouse. It was a Logitech driver update for the Logitech suite, of which I only use the mouse, but for some reason that interfered with OBS, and OBS was set to the default audio device. The default audio device is in fact the Realtek audio device on my computer, because I double checked that, but OBS didn't pick up the audio until I hit the drop down and went, oh, hang on a minute, yeah, no, I know what you need to do now. So I did an entire half-hour recording of Stranded Deep, and there was no in-game audio, and I was like, well, I could edit this together and put it out, but you know what? It's going to be weird. It's going to be somewhat unprofessional. So yeah, I couldn't record that. So between getting injured again, having some files on one video game go AWOL, messing up an in-game fight sequence so bad that I was just like, I need to restart this, and then having in-game stuttering on the recording, and then recording something with no audio whatsoever. It's been a wild few months. But when you do YouTube or when you do streaming I guess is more noticeable, because if you have an issue, it's immediate. Everyone's going to be like, oh, hey dude, you have a problem on your stream. The stream is not good, or it's slow, or it's breaking up, or the frame rate's not good, or there's no in-game audio, and your chat will tell you immediately. When it comes to YouTube, you don't get that immediate feedback. The soonest you are going to know that there is an issue is when you take all of your files and you put them into your video editing software, so Premiere or whatever, and then you go, oh bums, something's gone wrong and I now need to fix it. Which happens occasionally. Normally it happens I would say probably every 3 months, something goes catastrophically wrong with the recording and you can't use it. But yeah, so it's a learning experience. You don't get upset by it. You go, oh, okay, cool. I'm going to learn about what the problem is, and I'm going to check it and make sure this doesn't happen in the future. And occasionally it does. Occasionally you don't do all the checks that you are supposed to do before recording and something goes wrong. But it's just something that happens. Speaking of something that happens, in terms of video game playthroughs on the channel at the moment, there have been sort of roughly 3 styles of game. There's been Stranded Deep, which is the survival game, which is fine. So we've got survival in Stranded Deep, which is the one everyone likes to watch. We also have, let's just navigate this roundabout, we have the long play series, which is Baldur's Gate 3. So Baldur's Gate 3 long play, this could be interesting. So Baldur's Gate 3 long play series, which has been almost 2 years now. I reckon Baldur's Gate will go through 2 years, even though the recording sessions are an hour each. It just takes a long time. And then we have the indie game that we play, because I know that I can get through an indie game from start to finish. So that's things like Bramble the Mountain King, that's A Highland Song, that's Goodbye Volcano High, and I've got a wish list on Steam. So every time I see a video game that I'm interested in, what I do is I put it in my wish list on Steam. Not for any other reason, that when Steam has a sale, then it notifies you that the sale is on, and it tells you how much money you could save. And the summer sales are now on. Unfortunately, a lot of the games have got 30% off, which for some of them are not great. So things like Until Dawn is on that list. Unfortunately, Until Dawn, 30% off goes from £60 to 40 something pounds, and it's it's still quite expensive, considering $40 is like 2 tanks of fuel for the car, because it's a hybrid. So, you know, you got to balance life out with how much you're willing to spend on a video game. And unfortunately, Until Dawn's like a 6-hour playthrough. So if you were to pay full price, it's like £10 an hour. And are you going to play it through again afterwards? I don't know. But I've got a bunch of other indie games. I got Reka, R-E-K-A, on the list, and I was looking at that last night as a potential next indie game to play. That's where you play a witch, and you have a house, and it's on chicken legs. So you craft a house, and you put it up, and you're essentially Baba Yaga, who has a house that constantly rotates on chicken legs, the old Russian folktale. And I believe there are more than one Baba Yaga in Russian folklore. But yeah, so I was looking at that as a potential game to play. It's in early access. The trouble is the quests are a bit esoteric, and all the characters kind of look the same, so it needs a lot of work being done on it. You can kind of get lost quite easily as well, and I don't want a game where I'm just like muddling around, not quite knowing what I'm doing. There's another game called Cabernet, which is like an indie game. It's a vampire game, so you wake up in a charnel house, and you end up in sort of vampire society. And it's like a side-scroller style game where you get to have lots of conversations and stuff. That actually piques my interest. So Cabernet, as in the wine, and I believe there's a whole plot line about the product being Cabernet, and it's actually blood. So maybe that's an interesting one to look at. The other one is Keep Driving. I've had that on my radar for a while. I don't know how good that would be as a playthrough thing, because it's not a solid story game, I don't think. It's more of a roguelite. So maybe Keep Driving, I'm not sure. What else is on the list? There's another one. There was another one that I was looking at. Until Then, or it's a narrative game, but it deals with incredibly heavy themes. Like, one of the characters just kind of gets incredibly sad and removes themselves from the story. And I was reading up on it, and apparently whenever there's rain in the game, that denotes like sadness within a character, and it denotes like a bad time within that character. And if the character is alone, then that is a portent and an omen. And I believe it is a game where you get to deal with loss, but I don't know how good that would be. Apparently it's a good really solid narrative game, but it will make you cry. So I mean, if you guys got a suggestion for an indie game, I would be all ears. But I'm probably going to start this Tuesday maybe. So get in your words very quickly if you have an opinion. Also, it can't be too expensive. Because although we have a coffee link, coffee mostly goes on things like electricity and web hosting and stuff. When it comes to buying games, I just buy them on Steam with my own money, because that's just how I am. Or there is another game, the one that I keep promising to play and I never quite get round to. What the heck is it? It's the one with the girl in the blue hair and she's got psychic powers. Tarwanian would know. Tarwanian would know, because I think you've played the... there's like a... Oh, damn. I can't remember names, but I can remember pictures. I can see pictures. The game with the girl with the blue hair, I think it's a girl with blue hair, and there's butterflies, is Life is Strange. The game is Life is Strange. I got it. Just needed long-term memory retrieval. I guess back to me? If you guys have a suggestion for indie games, I'm gonna be honest, survival games, not so much. I know about things like Green Hell, not gonna play it. Why not? It's a survival game. You do survival games. No. I really don't like having to watch thirst and hunger and all of this stuff. The meters that keep dropping. The real issue, I had a real issue with that in, oh Jesus, why am my brain useless today? The game where we were up in Canada and everything was cold. The Long Dark. It was The Long Dark. It was the game where we were walking around in Canada and we were hoping to find a human head in a microwave, and we kept having to eat tins of beans. Beans, and they were wolves. Yes, The Long Dark. That was it. Back to me? And we were playing the Wintermute story as part of that. But we kept having to stop every 5 minutes, light a fire, make some soup, warm ourselves up, walk 10 yards, light another fire. And I'm just like, I'm not interested in this. I'm finding it such a chore to progress with anything. It was such a nightmare until we found the crashed aircraft and it was just full of supplies. And I was like, this is great, but I am just not, I'm finding myself losing interest because the core mechanics of the game are just getting a little bit boring. So survival games, I'm just not. Stranded Deep's good, because in Stranded Deep, you, no, interesting, the red lights are just on up ahead. In Stranded Deep, it doesn't punish you. The water and the food system go down, and they go down incredibly slowly. You could probably go an entire day without drinking, and then you will have to drink unless you get injured. And food, I think it's like a day and a half you can go without eating, and then the amount you eat isn't too much, and you don't need to balance nutrition. It's just like, yeah, we'll have a slab of meat or we'll have some fruit, and then we can concentrate on swimming and exploring and building and doing all the fun stuff without having to meter all of our survival stats. Yeah. The story games, I mean, I guess one of the really good games that I've found myself wanting another analog for but not finding is Goodbye Volcano High. I super enjoyed that game. I really enjoyed Goodbye Volcano High, and I'm so sad there isn't another game out that is similar to it. I know that there was a group of people made a Snoot game, so I looked it up. No. So yeah, got suggestions, leave them in the comments for an indie game that doesn't cost too much and might be quite interesting. I'm leaning towards Cabernet though, the vampire one, so we'll see about that. We could be here a long time. This is summer traffic. This is just what happens in Cornwall, and this is good summer traffic. By the time August rolls around, this whole road will become a car park. So yeah, it'll be straight up car park time. Let's just let the dog across. So if you have got to the point of the video and you're just like, ugh, you're not looking in my direction, that's an illegal maneuver, my friend. If you got to this point in the video and you are not subscribed, consider subscribing. It's free and it makes you feel fuzzy inside. If you like the video, obviously leave a little like, it helps everything out. There is a Ko-fi link down below if you want to donate to the channel. It goes straight on electricity and web hosting and stuff for the website. And I tell you what, I'll catch you next time.